We've got great news. We have a method that will help us solve any quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. Here to look for us. We're going to ensure the equation is first written in standard form so we can identify the A, B, and C values. We're going to make sure we substitute those A, B, and C values accurately into the formula, and I'll show it to you in just a second. Using our graphing calculators will simplify the formula and make sure you're accurately capturing those calculations in notes. And be very careful. It's very easy to forget a negative sign or a plus and minus sign. And finally, we'll demonstrate all solutions and round their answers. All right, so in your notes, you're gonna see those same steps here. And what I can tell you is this is a method that works because it takes this standard equation and using algebra sets it equal to x. So it just isolates the x and you get this formula that we're gonna use. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now it does look very complicated, and I will say it is lengthy, so please be patient. Take your time as you're chunking through the process, and you'll be able to find the solutions using this equation. Now let's get ready to jump into our first example. Okay, so let's go through the steps of how to solve this using quadratic formula. Number one, we're going to look to see if this is in a standard form, and yes it is. So 2, we're going to substitute our A, B, and C. So try and make sure you're writing this absolutely correctly into the formula. You'd be surprised how a negative sign is usually the thing we forget to write. So spend the time to just do this part as carefully as possible, because it will change your answer. Okay, now I'm going to simplify. I'm going to start with what's under the square root sign first, and then this one here. So I'm getting negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 plus 40. So that's a very simple place where we can get one little mistake and do minus 40 if you forget one of those negative signs. So this is over 4. And this simplifies to negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 49 over 4. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. We have x is equal to negative 3 plus or minus. Let's actually separate those two out here. So plus 7 over 4, or x is equal to negative 3 minus 7 over 4. These are your two possible answers because of the right over here, plus or minus. Okay, so let's go through this one first. It could be negative 3 plus 7, which is 4 over 4, which simplifies to x is equal to 1. That's one answer. Or you go this pathway and you get negative 10 over 2, which then goes to x is equal to negative 2.5 or negative 2.5. All right, so let's hit pause and jot this down into your notes. But this is our entire pathway. Check if it's in standard form. You're gonna substitute, then you're gonna simplify. That's our third step. And then you're going to solve for your two possible x's. Here's our second example, and you can see in step 1, this is not written in standard form. So we're gonna do that. We're just gonna subtract 2x on both sides. And that will give us our equation 0 is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 4. That's what we want. So our a is equal to 1, our b is equal to negative 2, and our c is equal to negative 4. So now we can start substituting, which is our second step. Notice how I'm putting, because it's minus b, On our very first one, I'm putting the negative sign in front of parentheses -2 because I'm substituting -2 into b. Okay, now we're going to simplify this a little bit more to clean it up. So I have 2, positive 2, plus or minus the square root of 4 plus 16 over 2, which I can simplify a little bit more to 2 plus or minus square root 20 over 2. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. We're getting nice and clean, but I can simplify that square root 20. We know how to do that because we can just use 4 times 5 on the inside. 4 is a square number. I want that. So now I have 2 plus or minus 2 square root 5 divided by 2. I'm going to split this divided by 2, so I have 2 over 2 plus 2 over square root 5 over 2. Or I'm going to show you the other way I can have this. I'm going to put it here on the side where x can be equal to 2 over 2 minus 2 square root 5 over 2. So we have 2 possible answers. Now, this is going to simplify into this part over here. I'm going to start here. This simplifies to 1, and this cancels out. This just becomes 1. And this also becomes 1. So on this end, I have x is equal to 1 plus the square root of 5. Or on this end, because it also simplifies, I have 1 minus square root 5. Now, this is where choice can really be helpful. You can actually leave your answer like this, but if you want to use your calculators and go even further to figure out what that value would be, it could be x is equal to 3 point, and I'm going to round this to the nearest thousands. 3.236, and on this side x is equal to negative 1.236. So you can use either one of these two answers. So you can have 1 minus the square root of 5, or you can use either one of these, or you can use this one here, x plus the square root of 5, or 3.236. All right, hit pause and jot this down into your notes. So again, not as pretty. You can keep it in that square root form, but here we go. We have our 2 possible answers. If you want to be more exact, you can use your graphing calculators to find the actual decimal value, and you may have to round. Okay, let's do the reveal. Here are the solutions for x, positive 2 and negative 1/3. So you can check off your answers and see if you have the same ones. And if you don't, I'm going to show you all the work in just a second. Here you go. All right, here's all the mathematics. I have it typed out so it's a little bit easier to see, so you can hit pause and try to identify where there might be a calculation error in your simplification. All right, let's just do one more. This one's challenging. I'm going to put it out there. Look at our terms for A, B, and C. So hit pause, work through this problem, and again, you're just using your algebra skills and your graphing calculators. So just attend to precision. And here's a reveal in 3, 2, 1. All right, our final answers are negative 3/2 plus or minus the square root of 53 over 2. The square root of 53 we cannot simplify. So you could have used your calculator to go to the decimal values, and that would have given you a more precise one. All right, so I will show you in just a second. Here's all the mathematics. If you had a different answer, you can try and find out where the error was. It was probably in one small part of the process. and here you go. So you can see all the simplifying and how getting from this point to here to get to our 2 answers. So that's it for today's lesson. Again, this is very complex, but we will say the quadratic formula will always work because it is just an equivalent equation to our standard form for quadratic formulas. So get some more practice in. Really make sure you're being precise and careful as you're substituting and capturing notes and using your calculator. And I will see you in the next lesson, Math Marvels. Be well.